Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm sitting with Kerala's ADGP Coastal Security, Sri Sudhesh Kumar IPS. He's also the nodal officer for Kerala flood rescue operations. In fact, he was the one who was coordinating with all the forces, including the Kerala Police, Fire Department, and Army, Navy, Air Force, and even the fire department which came from other states such as Odisha and Madhya Pradesh. So he was the person who was actually coordinating with all these forces and leading the rescue operations for the Kerala floods, where in fact it was the first of its kind flood the Kerala state witnessed, and over 100 people died and several people were stranded, and they were taken to the relief camps, and they're still living in the relief camps. So Sri Sudhesh Kumar IPS will tell us how was the rescue operations for him and for his team, and what are the challenges ahead. Sir, so you are the nodal officer for the rescue operation. So how was your experience, and how did it all begin?
First of all, I must admit that we had a tragic boat accident on 7th of August, 3:30 in the morning. Actually, I was doing the rescue operation for those fishermen who died in that. So we could that only 2 people died.
As you are the ADGP for Coastal Security.
Yeah. Coordinating with the Navy and Coast Guard and trying to take them out.
Right.
So 9th I came back to Trivandrum because I knew the situation was getting worse, and I attended the meeting, crisis management meeting at the Secretariat, and requested the Honorable Director General of Police that we need to have a nodal officer to coordinate with all the departments. So this responsibility he entrusted to me because I had the fortune of having started this entire activity of national disaster management in the Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs, when I was Deputy Inspector General. Disaster management and fire with the Central and Justice Security Force during 2002 to 2004. So these were the foundational period of the NDRF, the present NDRF. Then of course I worked with the United Nations as Police Commission in Africa. So I have that experience to do that. So having got the responsibility, my main job was to ensure seamless coordination with the police department of this particular state with all the agencies, right from the Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Coast Guard, then Fire Force, then all the departments of Government of Kerala and the people from outside who were helping us in rescue. So this was the main duty entrusted to me, and we had the crisis management meetings almost every day, morning and evening, by the Honorable Chief Minister. Right. Whatever the decisions and tasks were entrusted to us, and I was to execute on the ground. So we started in all earnest. It was all spontaneous reaction of all the people of Kerala. Not only police, everybody from Kerala, they rose like one man. They came to the rescue people who were marooned and who were affected. So as the situation was unfolding and our response was also getting more mature and all, so on a particular day, on 15th August, we had another boat accident in the sea. So rather than attending the Independence Day parade, I was getting involved in that rescue also, where we could save 4 people to the helicopters given by the Navy and Coast Guard. So that is the time I decided that no fisherman will be allowed to go to the sea. So that entire day, my staff, coastal police station staff, I directed them, please don't allow anybody to get into the sea. Now it's very, very rough. It's going to be rough next 1 week. So we were doing that job in addition to my role here. So on 16th morning, we realized that maximum rescue we can do now is with the boats. The water will be 8 to 10 feet and 14 feet also some places. So rescue maximum numbers can be shortest time we can do with the boats. So I was given the task of mobilizing the fishing boats from all over Kerala. So I gave a target of 500 boats in the morning to all my staff all over Kerala. And luckily for me, we could mobilize around 400 boats with their crew right from Kasaragod, then Kannur, then Kozhikode, Malappuram, then from south like Trivandrum and Kollam. Then evening decision was taken that we have to transport these boats overnight. So this was a sort of...
This was on which day?
On 16th evening.
16th evening.
Mobilization was in the morning.
Okay.
At 16th we were directed by the Honorable Chief Minister that we should ship these boats. The allocation was done.
Right.
So this task was given to the district SPs and the Inspector General of Drainage.
Right.
So I think the credit of the department, we could shift around 150 boats in the night over trucks. Personally, labor was not there. My staff, police people were loading, district police, coastal police with the fishermen. We are loading and requesting the lorry people to take us to the flood scene. So 150 boats we could adapt on the night, and the remaining boats around the next 1 day. So we finished that. So as in the situation was changing, so different types of boats were required in different places. So every boat is not suitable for every place. So now I have to find out those boats also. So that I was telling my coastal police to go first. Now we go for speed launches because water level is going down. We need to go for speed launches. Then we mobilize speed launches. Then army got with the boats, big boats came. So those were also.
So did you take the fishermen also along
Fishermen
with this
were
boat?
along because their property. They were the people who run for us, and they stayed throughout with us. They were, their food and their security and their accommodation was taken care of by the Kerala police. They worked like our own members of the force.
Right.
So 24 hours they were working and all. I think that if you say that entire operation, because given the numbers of people rescued, maybe around 70 to 80% credit goes to these people, plus fishermen who joined on their own without any request from anybody. So that was the backbone of the entire operation. It was taken by the boats not only from fishermen, it basically from the Navy, Coast Guard, Army, everybody joined together.
How many forces were involved in this, sir? And how many personnel?
Personal, I think I can remember that NDRF, they had around 58 teams. It was not on a particular day. Actually, some teams were pre-positioned when the disaster was unfolding, and every day teams were being air flowing. Right from Hindon, somebody was coming from Bhubaneswar. So it was a gradual induction as the situation was unfolding. So on last day, peak operation, 2 days back, we had 58 teams from the NDRF. And we had a substantial number of army. We had engineering task forces doing specialized tasks for us. And we had again special forces to help us in very, very difficult operations and all. The Navy has put their seeking helicopters. Then Coast Guard are also giving a lot of boats and ships. They were helping us in all over this, not only in the land, even in the sea. So it's the coordination which was almost, I think I can say it's almost perfect with everybody. We worked like one department of the government.
And what are the main challenges for you? Because this is the first of its kind, and I think the police department would never have faced such a situation in the past.
I think it's unprecedented. The scale, if you given the scale itself, is unprecedented. But we are dealing with the calamities like this almost every year and all. But maybe lower scale. But this is unprecedented, which is overwhelming for us. That's why it's called disaster. So challenge was to respond, and I think everyone did give very good account of themselves. And I think one thing I must admire that the focused attention we got from the topmost echelons of the government, right from the Honorable Chief Minister. So the seamless coordination with all the departments, same page, everybody is the same wavelength, no difference at all. We worked from different departments, like on 42 department Kerala government, we are just one of them. We worked like shoulder to shoulder with everybody, day and night, for the past 15 days.
Since you're also the ADGP for coastal security, could you please tell us what was the effect in the coastal area and in the sea?
Coastal areas, because the situation was not very good, and we had warned that we had a Kadala Jagrati Samiti, that is KJS we call. We have every fisherman who goes to the sea, we have their numbers and names, and we are regular touch with them. Like when we are briefing them, requesting them not to the boat sea, almost everybody cooperated with us. And same people next day, when we requested them, they spontaneously came with their boats and all. So we have very good understanding with them, and they are like basically my eyes and ears as far as coastal security goes. So they are my first line of defense. We work like day and night together. It's for their safety, then we are there.
Right.
Then if you were talking about challenges, I think challenge now is that what has happened is still happening. Now we are from rescue mode, we are going to rehabilitation mode. So police now, we are getting involved in that security of the camps. Then taking people to their homes, they will have difficulties and all.
Right.
With the homes, we are going to help them and all. Like we have got more than 2,000 people deployed today only for helping the people getting their houses cleaned. So that's also happening.
The police is doing that.
Police is doing that. We have recruits, around 600 lady constables who just passed out as a battalion. So they are also helping them. All the people are involved. And then of course we have to counseling also we are going to organize for them in the other people and getting them the required assistance from other departments. So this is a major role for us, and maintaining the law and order and carrying their grievances to the concerned department for redressal. So that helping hand will come from Kerala Police.
Are you also deploying forces in the relief camps?
Relief camps, we all covered all the camps we have put by police. Every camp is covered by the police, maybe 2 or 3 depending on the size of the camp we are putting the police, and then of course we are doing the patrolling. And then one major challenge which I foresee now for the state, like this has happened now, people say that last was 1924 and this has happened in 2018, but disasters never come with a warning. It can strike anywhere, anytime. So I think this was a big lesson for us, and I think the fitness of things, if we prepare for next major event like this, God forbid it should not take place. In case it takes place, we should not be caught unprepared. So I think one factor will be to raise our own state disaster response force SDRF, then having some critical equipment with all the departments like fire force, like the police, mostly in the affected areas which are going to be affected. We can do the scenarios and all. So giving them training so that they step in as first responders.
Right.
So then only supplemented by the other forces from the government of India. So that's a major challenge for the government itself,
Right.
not only the police alone.
And sir, how was it during the operation? We were also like, on social media and, other platforms, a lot of messages were coming, this many people are stranded here, or, things like my parents are, I'm not in touch with my parents, they are not reachable on phone. So how did you deal with such cases?
There were different channels were there. One control room was started in the police headquarters here itself. I think in the question of just on 2 days, they handled over 150,000 calls. So every call was attended and the airports were passed on to us, and we are passing it on the district SPs and all, district chiefs, and getting it back, getting the feedback and all. Every call was attended. There is one then State Disaster Management Authority. They had another channel. So everything was going to the field and also getting the feedbacks and all. So I think it's very good communication. People calling all over the world. It was emails, it was SMS, it telephone calls, it was on WhatsApp. Everything was being downloaded and put in a particular format and communicated to the ground through wireless. Because mobile telephones were not very effective, because most of the affected areas mobile was not working. So only channel what we could have was police wireless straight to the districts. So they were able to communicate and give the information to them. So that is the way we coordinated. And then of course forces had their own communication session. We communicated to their sets also.
So this is the second disaster that have struck the Kerala state recently. After Oki, this is now the floods. And you rightly mentioned that you were part of the National Disaster Management Authority. So what is, in your opinion, what are the challenges for Kerala? Like ecologically, such a sensitive area it is. So how we should be prepared?
Okay, I think if you take Kerala as a whole, like given the frequency of disasters in other states like Odisha, this was, I think, a very odd event in Kerala, but okay come. Generally we are scared of that. You never heard of major earthquakes in this part of the state, neither major cyclones and all. So
Right.
Oki also was like surprise for us.
Right.
But there also we responded, and that was one major challenge for us, which we I think did reasonably well, because whatever the time the warning came, I was that time ADC Armed Police Battalions, we have to all the force on full alert, and we assisting every bit. But difficulty was
Right.
we don't have the equipment or training to work in the sea. Oki was only tackled in the sea. It was basically Navy, then Air Force, Indian Air Force, and the Coast Guard. With their assistance, we could manage the situation.
Right.
But this was happening on the ground. So here the major portion was the water, which we did with the other departments, Fire Force, then our fishermen, and the police boats were there, then implemented by India, by the Army, Navy, everybody together. It was happening on the ground.
Right.
So this is the way it is happening, but I think we are already taking cognizance of that, and we are putting systems in place and trying to streamline all those things and then raising a new force, getting
Right.
new equipment and all. So that's what we have to do as a
Right.
state.
Sir, also there was a call that the rescue operation should have been completely handed over to the army. So how would you respond to that? This was
I would not like to comment on that.
Yeah.
I think my take on that is that the first responder to any disasters, not only in India, even in the world,
Yeah.
it is the community themselves.
Right.
If it is happening in Kerala, it is the people of Kerala. Then of course the department like police and fire force that we have to respond immediately. The first response comes, and we being a federal structure, we have specialized dedicated force called NDRF, which is raised around, I think 12,000 numbers. They are raised only for these calamities, natural and man-made disasters.
Right.
So they are supposed to step in, and they rightly did so. And as soon as the crisis was unfolding, and adequate numbers they responded, and very effectively they responded. Then of course we had all the armed forces of the government of India, like Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, everybody stepped in without any loss of time.
Right.
Because raising these forces and maintaining a state level is very difficult. Only some numbers we can have. But as a federal country of as a continental size, we have to have the pooling of resources and all. That's what the government of India is doing.
Right. Sir, you have mentioned some of the challenges that are lying ahead. So what will be your appeal or message to the people, the affected people as well as the general people in the state?
I think they have given very good account of themselves. We didn't have a major disorder also. Everybody came together. People not only staying in Kerala, even diaspora were sitting outside and all. Everybody was with us. And every state, they contributed either by sending their resources or sending their staff. Like we got the Andhra Pradesh Fire Department, they give the firemen and the boat ports, then Odisha also did the ports and all. So that outpouring of sympathy and all that, what do you call that, sources from the country is still going on. I think that was overwhelming for us, and the response we have got all over the country. So I think people like, my personal request would be that if I see that events like that, the building codes will have to be much more stricter when you build the buildings
Right.
and all. So
Right.
the codes will have to change. We have to redevelop the buildings which are not get affected by these extreme events and all. So we have to take a lot of things have to be done. Some buildings we can do by retrofitting, and some buildings may have to be demolished. But I think we have to be very, very serious about the way we build our houses, the way we build our offices. Everything has to be looked at. And those areas which are maybe affected later also. So
Okay.
that has to be kept in mind, because it may come again. Nobody knows that. One
Right.
thing is that the resolve has to be there, that unflinching determination of the administration is also very, very important. We have to work with the public, get their cooperation and tide over whatever difficulty we face.
Right. So thank you so much, sir. That was ADGP Coastal Security Kerala, Sudhesh Kumar IPS. He was recounting the rescue operation. He was the nodal officer for the rescue operations, coordinating with all the other forces, and also he explained the challenges ahead. Thank you so much for watching.